Hello, my lovely viewers. I am back again, 7 months later. This video was, I believe, suggested by someone in the comments, so if that was you, thank you. This will be a bead with me, where I talk about my identity, which includes my queer identity, so my gender and sexuality.
Editor's note, I forgot to talk about my sexuality.
As well as my alterhumanity, which is a big broad term for like otherkin and Therian things, if you know about that, and a few other things that I just want to talk about. But yeah, let's get into it. So I'm gonna put this on a necklace while I talk about, first, I planned out what I wanted to talk about, my identity. Essentially, let's start with my gender, because I feel like that's the main thing that people might know about me. I am like very fluid in everything, as well as like I have like layers. Think of an onion, think of Shrek. I'm kind of like Shrek in that way. Not literally my gender is Shrek, obviously. Imagine an umbrella, and then underneath it are a few other umbrellas. Basically, I have all-encompassing words for my identity, and then I have smaller terms and labels, micro-labels, that I use to express how I feel, and I don't know, some people aren't a big fan of that, and they think it's weird, and they think that it hurts people, but really, it doesn't. I think everyone should just be really open-minded about terms and things. That's not about me that much. Me, umbrella term, non-binary. And when you think non-binary, you may think, oh, third, neutral, androgynous. And that's fine. That's an alright way to think of the word non-binary. But not every non-binary person is gender neutral and androgynous, because non-binary is not just a third gender. It is an entire thing separate from the binary system. So there's male, female, boy and girl, man and woman are the typical two things that you think of. Non-binary is anything outside of those two. Anything that is not like strictly man and strictly woman. So I consider myself non-binary. I also call myself a guy. I'm a trans guy. And you might think,
wait, but if you are outside of the binary, how are you also a guy? That doesn't make any sense.
But it does, because I am a guy that is not binary. So basically, that is my main umbrella. Non-binary, trans guy. Non-binary boy. And then, if you go a little bit deeper, I am also gender fluid.
Wait a second. If you're outside of there and you're a guy, then you're just a guy.
I am still strongly connected to femininity and girly things, even though clothing does not have a gender as it's just fabric, but I really like feminine things, and like especially like the scene and emo aesthetic and subculture is very much like a feminine thing. And if you think of like an emo guy, that was considered like more of a feminine thing to do than like traditional masculinity, and I really resonate with that a lot more than traditional masculinity. So I am fluid between being like more feminine and more masculine, or sometimes I feel more agender, and sometimes I feel more animalistic. And if we're going from the top umbrella, we just finished the second umbrella. Now the next one is Xenogenders, and a lot of people don't like those, but I feel like my audience especially is probably chill with those. Essentially, I have a lot of Xenogenders that I have hoarded over the past 4 years now. Wow, it's been a long time, and they all mean a lot to me because it's just like ways that I can express pieces of myself with like a flag and like more complicated words than I am able to articulate myself. And I also really love words and like etymology, I think is the word, like prefixes and suffixes, and I love that you can like create a new word from combining other words, and I love language and things like that. But essentially, because I'm autistic and because I do not and have not ever felt like I fit in with other people in the way that, I don't know, I just exist, and I've always been told that I'm weird and I'm not like other people, TM, that I have always felt less like a human person, and I felt a lot more like an animal. And at first I was like, yeah, I feel like a cat. And then as I've gotten older, I've connected with more animals and other things. So I like have collected Xenogenders that are related to the animals and like concepts and different like experiences in my life or like nature that I really resonate with and really like feel like is a part of my identity. Because you might be like,
Oh, cat gender? You think you're a cat? That's weird. Your gender's not a cat. Gender is boy or girl.
I understand the thought behind it. Like, that's weird and crazy. Why would you even do that? That can't possibly be serious. But if you think about it, it's like, if you have felt so ostracized your whole life, you will stop connecting with like humanity and being a human, and it might be more comfortable to express yourself in a way that is animalistic. And that for me is also related to my other kinity and my theoryanthropy. Because if you don't know, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it in previous videos, I am otherkin and I am a Therian, and I use those words kind of interchangeably, but they mean two different things, because Therian is like the connection. I don't really know how to word it properly, but the way it is for me, I feel very connected to certain animals, and I feel like I am those animals, and I like have qualities and traits of those animals, and I just feel more comfortable thinking of myself as an animal. And then otherkin is like, otherkin can really be anything. Like, it can be animals, or it can be fictional characters, or it could be items, or stuffed animals, or dinosaurs, even extinct animals, mythical creatures like dragons. You may have noticed that I've completely forgotten to do bead stuff. That's because I didn't want to make too much noise. But yeah, I'm gonna actually start making stuff with my beads now. But yeah, so let me see. I do have scissors in here. Yippee! I wrote down some things just so I wouldn't forget what I wanted to talk about. If you are wondering, and you haven't watched my previous videos where I now am remembering that I definitely talked about this before. So my theotpes, which is like the specific word for what animals you identify with, are a Burman cat. I'll put pictures on the screen also. Tuxedo cat. It kind of depends. Sometimes I feel fluffier than other times, but generally short hair. A silver fox, as well as a white mark silver fox. I'm not sure if that's the right word.
Apparently, they're also called marble foxes, which I didn't know, and I don't know if marble fox or white mark fox is the correct name, but I'm sure somebody in the comments might know. Anyway, editor, tell me, out of here. Bye.
They're both silver foxes, just one has different markings than the other. So, and they're also both like considered red foxes as the species, but like they're like emo foxes. And border collies. So essentially, imagine a tuxedo cat and imagine a dog that looks like a tuxedo cat. Put them together, and that's me. That is also what my persona is. Kitty Fox Pup is the word that I use. That is also a very gendery word for me, because like, I'm not a human being. I'm a kitty fox pup. Also, my kin identity is a wolf plushie. I actually have a wolf plushie that I kind of use to express my other kinity.
Hi again, it's Editor Tommy here. At this point, I forgot that I had already shown Trinket in my last video because, like I said at the beginning, it has been 7 months. So please forgive me if you watch my last video because I'm gonna keep saying, here's my new little guy that you've never seen before, even though, yes, you have seen him before. But anyway, bye!
And I don't know. I think I'm gonna show him because I've done a lot of work on him. He technically is not the exact wolf plush that I like identify with, but because I've like put so much love and time and effort into him, he kind of has become me now. So I will show him to you. This is Trinket. He is my little mini me. Very cute little creature that I've worked so hard on. And you can see he has little candy that, let me see, I have made this bracelet and this one, and my boyfriend actually made this one that says baby with a little rainbow with sad and happy clouds. And he has a little necklace that says his name, which is Trinket. He also has a little cookie perler necklace and a little cat collar. It does have a bell, I think. Yeah, it's just hidden under there. So, he jingles. Very cute. And I made him this little backpack. I'll actually take it off, but I also made him this little hoodie. So I'll show you his backpack now. So here is his little backpack. And it attaches, like, it's attached to the backpack with a safety pin because I got tired of sewing, but then it attaches around him with little snaps, and I sewed this whole thing by myself with my hands, and it took me so long. This little Pinkie Pie is a little toy that came with an apple juice, and then all these little buttons on here, except for this big one, are buttons that I painted to look like pins and glued on there. And then this was a pin that I painted over with the Sun Theotpes flag, which, if I check my Google, Sun Theotpes is an identity where one's Etherian identity is integrated into their baseline personality. So, like, I'm always animal. So you never feel fully human or fully animal and don't have clear-cut shifts. So, like, I don't awaken and turn into more of an animal sometimes. I'm just always what I am. And this was made by Xenogenders on Tumblr. And I'll just show the actual flag that I copied for the pin, which I think I did a pretty good job, if I say so myself. So everyone say goodbye to Trinket. Bye-bye. Now I will actually work on this necklace. I know in my previous bead with me from like a year ago now, I did talk about some of my identity stuff because that was putting beads of flags on my shoes, and those at this point in time are a little outdated, but honestly, like, not too outdated. So, yummy pink beads. A lot of the Xenogenders that I identify with are animal related, like I said, especially cats and dogs and foxes, as well as stuffed animals, and a lot of nature things because I resonate a lot with nature, especially in the summer. I just feel like I come alive again. I know that it's probably seasonal affective disorder. You don't have to tell me. But I just feel happier and more alive, and I feel like that is a part of my identity, I guess. And a lot of people are like,
Okay, you can like something, but it doesn't have to be part of your identity.
and like, yes, that's true. But like, it's more fun to be like, yeah, part of my gender is the breeze and the smell of fresh cut grass. If someone is just chilling and being like, yeah, I'm cat gender and I'm gonna wear cat ears, that is literally hurting nobody. Because the whole idea is like,
oh, well, it makes transphobes hate us more because they don't understand it, so they think we're weird.
and it's like, well, honestly, I think transphobes are gonna hate us no matter what they do. Because transphobes don't want trans people to exist at all. I don't think it matters if someone says they're cat gender and wants to wear cat ears. Hopefully my point came across alright. I have these star beads. You can't really see them very well, but they have a white core in them, and I'm gonna put them on this necklace as well. I want it to be mostly black so that I can wear it with like other things instead of just like only being able to wear it if I wear a pink outfit. Some of you may know this if you follow like any of my art accounts, but if you don't, you should totally follow my art accounts. I'm pawbead on most things and desktop kitty paw on Instagram, so please check me out. Thank you, and give me a follow and some likes and maybe some retweets or reposts, please. Thank you. But as I was gonna say, if you follow me on some of my art accounts, I have posted some art on my account that is related to age slash pet regression slash age slash pet dreaming, which, if you don't know what that is when you mentally regress to a childlike state, either for like comfort or as like a trauma response or as like a response to stress or just for fun for some people, as well as pet regression, which is the same thing except regressing to an animal like pet state of mind. And this is a really healing thing for me because I would say that I didn't have the greatest experiences in my childhood, and it's a good way to like take it back in a safe way where I'm comfortable and where I am like protected and I know what to expect and I can like stop it at any time, and it just feels safer for me, and I express that in my art. And I don't know, hashtag coming out as an age regressor, I guess. This is not like a public thing at all, I guess, other than the art that I have posted. So I hope if anyone else is also that you feel welcome here, and I really hope that everyone is safe and happy and able to express themselves the way that they want to. Elevator music while I put on beats. Only a few more, I think. Will be good for this necklace. I don't actually have much else to talk about, so actually I do have something to talk about, I think. The story that I want to tell is basically my identity journey. The first time I ever realized that I was like queer was in the 3rd grade, so I would have been 8 years old, and I had a huge crush on my best friend who was a girl, and I knew what lesbians were because I knew what gay people were. The first wedding I ever went to when I was 6 was a gay wedding, and my parents would talk about lesbians frequently, but I had like a negative perception of lesbians, so I realized, oh my gosh, I'm a girl that likes a girl. This is messed up. I'm a lesbian. I can't be a lesbian. So I didn't tell like anybody about this. A little bit later, I don't remember what year it was, I just kind of accepted that, like, okay, I like girls too, and that was alright with me. I'm cutting the string, by the way, not my hair. And soon after, a YouTuber called Gloom came out as pansexual in a video, and I was like, oh my gosh, this, like, is the word that I needed, because I didn't know that it was possible to have a word for that. I just thought there was gay and lesbian and then normal people. I started identifying as pansexual, and that was like the first ever label that I used for my sexuality. And then a little bit after that, I stopped using pansexual as my label and I started using bi instead because I just felt like it fit better. I turned 12 and I got my first ever phone, which was so exciting, and I was just so happy that I finally had a phone. And then I immediately made friends with a boy and he became my boyfriend, and that was a very bad experience for me, so I'm not going to talk about that. But basically, I had such a bad experience, and because both of us at the time identified as bisexual, I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I'm not bi, I am omnisexual. It's funny now, but at the time it was sad and frightening. And then in very early 2020, someone that I was close with at the time came out to me as gender fluid, and I was like, huh, I've never heard of that. I'm 12 years old. And I was like, I didn't know that people could be other genders. That's really cool. That, like, opened my eyes to the knowledge that you could be a different gender if you wanted to. So one day I looked up non-binary and I saw, like, the basic definition of what non-binary was, and I was like, wait, that is absolutely me. Because I have never felt like a girl my whole life. I have just felt like I existed. 2020, suddenly pandemic, suddenly quarantine, suddenly I have Discord, and I'm making friends with other 12 and 13-year-olds on the internet, which was super awesome, and I'm still friends with all those people. Well, most of them at least. And I was, like, learning about so many things and so many identities and, like, queer labels, which was awesome. Also, at this point in time, I had changed my name to Quinn, which is not a name that I use anymore. 12-year-old Quinn decides they are going to come out to their parents. This, unfortunately, did not go the way I wanted it to, and nothing changed. And then I got so tired of the name Quinn that I changed it to Pester. When it was 2020, it was the year of the rat. So I became obsessed with rats. I wanted a rat. I was, like, researching rats and drawing rats. I was trying to make a rat army. And Pester, I just thought it was a really cool word, and because rats are pests. Also, at this point in time, I started using neopronouns, and the first neopronouns that I started using were, like, ones, and frogs, I believe. And then, the name Pester, died, and I could not use it anymore because I got so frustrated with it. So, shortly after that, I changed my name to Bunny with an I. See, I don't remember this in 2020, but apparently the, like, bunny hat trend, it started in 2020. So my name was Bunny at that time, and I was non-binary, and I think I was using homoflexible as my label. I am making a tie now, by the way. I just started on this. Now that I was Bunny, I was obsessed with bunnies. I had replaced the rats and the frogs and the mushrooms with rabbits. And I also had gotten myself a few bunny hats. These are my original bunny hats. Also had gotten my first, like, trans guy haircut, which was just a pixie cut, but it made me so happy and so euphoric to have short hair. Then started to become more tired of the name Bunny, because that is just a thing that happens with me. Apparently, I get tired of the names I pick, so I decided to tack on a name that sounded pretty alright, which was Elliot. And technically, this is still my name, but it is my real life name. So I don't expect you guys to be coming on here and being like, "Hi, Elliot. Hi, Elliot." Don't do that, please. I had slowly grown out of the bunny hat era, as most people did. I decided that I wanted to be taken way more seriously. So my name was now Elliot, and I was not a bunny anymore. But while I was in my bunny hat era, I had also started hoarding Xenogenders, which is where it all began. So I am not embarrassed of that era at all. And if you had one too, don't be embarrassed by yourself either, because everyone goes through phases, and it's all part of figuring ourselves out. And that's good. That's part of being human, says the guy who just talked about why he's not human for like 5 minutes. But I had collected things like bun gender and frog gender, things like that, because I just thought they were fun and they felt like more expressive to me. This was also when I started getting into candy and Kandipatterns, the website, which many of you may know me from. Hi! And even though I was now serious Elliot, not bunny hat, I was still using my silly Xenogenders and neopronouns because I still wanted to express myself. I still felt really happy using these things, and I still do today. So I'm so happy that I didn't let go of them and become like, those aren't good for the community, blah, blah. I just find like anything that I can use to express myself just really helpful for me, and it just makes me really happy. Like candy or clothing and accessories and like scene subculture and art. This is my sketchbook right now. And music and writing, regression, theotpes, things like that. Being a furry. Just anything that I can do to express myself and make myself happier is really important to me because I have spent so much of my life feeling bad and feeling sad. And if I can do one little thing, like wearing a tail or wearing colorful necklaces and bracelets, then I will do it because I need to prioritize my happiness. And like if something does not make me happy, then it does not need to be in my life. And I feel like that's a good way to think about things. Just don't be mean. Be nice to people, essentially. Hi, it's Editor Tommy, but in the real flesh. I just wanted to add a little last segment piece of this video because I felt like I didn't get to say all that I wanted to. Basically, like, a lot of people's reasoning for not liking Xenogenders or microlabels or otherkin identities or theanthropy is like, oh well, it's just kids and teenagers being weird and making up identities. But like, in my opinion, like, why should it matter? If someone is having fun expressing themselves in a way that might seem weird to you, like, at least they're happy. Like, if someone is getting so much joy and happiness and like being creative, like making flags, making new words, making art, making masks, which are art, and just anything like that, like if someone is happy because of that, why do you need to be like, well, that's not real? There is no good reason. Like, even the reason that, like, oh, well, Xenogenders and microlabels like that hurt the trans community because they make us look like a joke. Like, okay, but transphobes are going to see trans people as something that's weird and bad and needs to be destroyed anyway. It doesn't matter if a 14-year-old on the internet identifies as cat gender because transphobes still want all trans people to die. And one person on the internet who is xenogender is not more dangerous to the community than the literal people in power in the government who want to exterminate trans people. So basically that is kind of what I wanted to say. And I'll throw you back to the regular part of the video now, I think. So, bye again! I think it's really important for us as like a community, weirdos, to stick together because it's a scary time right now for a lot of people, especially queer people, and I just want the community to stick together because infighting and being divided is something that will not help us. It will not make us better. It will not make us happy, and it will not keep us safe. They want us to hate each other, and they want us to separate so that it's easier for us to disappear. We need to support each other in these scary times, and it's really important for everyone to love each other, I think. Now, I'm not saying, like, if you don't like somebody, that we all have to hold hands and be like, yay, this is awesome. But, like, we need to prioritize happiness and actually do action that is going to help and not hurt. Because going after someone on the internet for using a label that you don't understand is just going to divide us more. And literally, if you've heard the phrase divide and conquer, they want smaller groups so they can be like, squash, 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 oh, no more queer people. And that includes other groups too, like people of color. But I am not a part of that group, so I can't speak so much on that. I don't think I have enough stuff to talk about to finish this tie in this video, but I think you'll definitely see this. I'll post it when I finish it because I feel like that would be a good thing to do for the people to see. I am like running out of energy right now, if you can't tell. It's very warm in my room from this lovely daylight, which I barely get to see because it's winter. Here is the progress I made on the tie while I was talking. Here is what it'll eventually look like. It'll be Nyan Cat. Feel free to ask respectful questions in the comments. If you have something that you're genuinely curious about, I would love to answer and give you more information and help you learn more because I love teaching people about things, especially queer identities. I will, however, be deleting anything that is rude or disrespectful or just unhelpful. So if you have a question, please ask it respectfully, and I thank you if you do. Don't forget to do things that make you happy, spread joy, prioritize your mental health, and take care of yourself. I know it's a tough time right now, but we'll get through this together. And it may be hard to stay positive, but you have to stay positive. Existing is resisting, and we will continue to exist. Okay. Well, you made it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, leave a comment, give me some other ideas for videos if you have any. Let me know what you thought of my candy, etc. And if you're new and you enjoyed and you want to see more, you should definitely subscribe because that would be so awesome and nice. But yeah, that is all. So, as always, peace, love, unity, respect, and responsibility. Bye!